All right, good afternoon. It is time now for week 2. Go through the scheduled games of the week. Go through IHSA.org. Going through week 2, looking at the games, IHSA.org. All your place for all the information IHSA, and they do a great job. For scores, go to IHSA Score Zone on Twitter as well. Again, they do a great job too as well for the IHSA football scores. And as always, I do not know this, and this is one of your guys' favorite segments. I do not know why. I seriously do not know why, but still doing it. Season 2 of it. So, week 2, 2018, IHSA football. Let's get started pretty soon. I actually get started now. A couple games right off the head. My deep dish football game of the week, as voted by you guys. Nico Valley versus Stevenson. Great game. Great offenses, 2 great defenses, big names for larger schools that are trying to go up that higher mountain. Stevenson's looking like a state contender. So is Nico Valley. It's going to be a great game. Can't wait Friday night. Also, Nazareth Academy at Lake Zurich. That's a huge game for Lake Zurich and Nazareth Academy. Nazareth Academy riding high, beating a national powerhouse from Missouri, Lutheran North. So congratulations to Nazareth on that. Lake Zurich got their first win as also. Lake Zurich wants to get back to the state title game. So does Nazareth, both losers in the state title last year. It's going to be a good game at Lake Zurich. Keep that in mind, at Lake Zurich. Another game, IC versus Julia Catholic. Huge implications in that game. 2 teams, IC, they have the respect, they have the titles, they have the championships, but to go to that extra level, to beat a Julia Catholic, a perennial powerhouse, always. Julia Catholic, they're back. They got a great offensive line, great group of running backs. They're ready to pound the ball down your throat. Simple as that. Who's going to win that game? It's going to be a great game at IC again. So those are 3 games definitely keep an eye out for as I go down the schedule. As we go down. All right. Taylorville at Effingham, good game in Apollo. Definitely a great game. Look out for Effingham and Taylorville. Bryan, no. So go down, scroll down. Oh, that's a good game. That's actually a great game. That's one of the best games in the state right there. Normal West versus Normal Community High School. That is one of the top games in the state and one of the top games of the year. Normal versus Normal West, 2 Big 12 powerhouses this season. It's going to be a great game. That's a great game to watch. Let's see, what else? Chester Fairfield is a good game as well. I think Chester lost their game, if I'm not mistaken. Edwards County versus Cesar Valley. That's a little bit of a game to check out as well in the Black Diamond Conference. In the Cuyahoga Conference, let's see. Actually, I'll put this down. Breeze Central at Salem. I want to see what Salem has. I think Salem won last week. Salem looks good, really good actually. So that'd be a very interesting. That's going to be a very interesting game to watch, indeed. All right, Central State 8. That's a good game. Chatham Glenwood, the Sacred Heart Griffin. This is a big test for Chatham Glenwood. A very good big test for Chatham Glenwood. Jacksonville versus Decatur MacArthur might be an interesting game as well because Decatur MacArthur, they won last week against Springfield. This is a good challenge for Decatur MacArthur if they get to 2-0. Chicago Hope versus Chicago DePaul will be an interesting game. Just the fact that Chicago Hope is looking to get back on track with their wins. Let's see, what else? What else do we have? Yeah. The Dundee County would be interesting because Dundee Crown won the first game last week. To get the 2-0 would be a big thing for them. A big step from Huntley at Jacobs. Jacobs at Huntley is a great game as well. That's a big time Fox Valley game right there. Trying to look. Let's see what else. Tri Valley Fieldcrest, that's a good game as well. St. Thomas More at Olympia is another good game. IVC at Monticello is a good game. IVC won their game last week against Unity. IVC is a team to keep a very good close eye on, as I talked about it was last week in the conference preview, if I'm not mistaken. Rantoul at St. Joseph Ogden's another interesting game. St. Joseph Ogden still looking good. I want to see what Rantoul has because they've got some very underrated athletes at Rantoul to keep an eye out for. Freeport at Hanahu is a good game. Definitely want to keep an eye out for Hanahu and Freeport's quarterback. He is something special. Forston at Lena Winslow, huge game in NUIC Northwest. Yeah, that's a good game. And keep an eye out for Freeport Aquin Catholic. They won their first game. If they can win their second game, watch out for Freeport Aquin. New coach Connor, forgetting his last name, out of Freeport. He's doing a great job with those young men. All right. Pleasant Plains at Athens. That's a good game. Porter at North Mac is a game to keep an eye out too. And Merrill Forsyth at New Berlin as well. Definitely a game that you want to keep an eye out for. No. Lincoln Way West versus Lincoln Way Central is another great game. Lincoln Way Central lost the game to who was it? Lost to Richards. Lincoln Way West would need this win. Lincoln Way Central need this win. Lincoln Way West needs that second W. They got a good season. They got a solid group of players. It's a team that I'm talking about a lot. It's going to be a great game. Lincoln Way West versus Lincoln Way Central. Juliet West at Oswego East at Juliet West, good game. Oswego at Manuka, good game. Yeah, two good games right there in the Southwest Prairie. Upstate 8 Conference. Glenbard East at Bartlett would be an interesting game, especially with Glenbard East. Glenbard East looks good. They look good this season. Keep an eye out for Glenbard Self as well, and keep a little bit of a close eye out for Larkin. They're doing something special there. All right. Elton at Quincy, that'd be a good game. Elton needs to get back from a loss to Highland, which I was completely shocked by. That was a complete surprise to me. Hersey versus Frimd is a good game to look at as well. St. Vitus playing Wisconsin team. Aurora Central Catholic versus Richmond Burden is a great game. Aurora Central Catholic had a huge win last week. Barrington at Buffalo Grove, another good game. Buffalo Grove went to DGN and won. So definitely keep an eye out for Buffalo Grove. Huge win for them. Eisenhower, Bishop Mac's a good game. Bishop Mac looks great this year. They look really good this year. There's a bunch of games I would say good, but a lot of kids transfer from that school. See what else? What else do we got? Gold City Wilmington's a huge game in the Interstate 8 Conference. Phillips at Shamad in Missouri is another huge game for Phillips. Lost their Ohio team. They got to win this game. This is a huge game for them. St. Ignatius at OPRF is a great game for St. Ignatius. Definitely a team to keep an eye out for St. Ignatius. Clifton Central at Herscher, that's a good game as well. Chicago Perspectives versus Brenneman's. That's another game to keep out for, especially talent-wise. Chicago Perspectives has got some great D1 talent. That'd be a great game to go visit. Some good defenders on that team. Crete-Monee at Brother Rice, that's another good game. Crete-Monee, they put a lot of great teams on their schedule. They played Lincoln Way East last week. They lost. And they're going against Brother Rice. Brother Rice won against Marist. It's going to be a good game. Brother Rice versus Crete-Monee. Crystal Lake Self at the Kelp, that's a good game as well. Very interesting game. Edwardsville plays Christian Brothers in St. Louis. That's another good game as well. Won't give that game that good. Glenbard West versus Proviso East. Don't laugh. Proviso East got their home opening win, and they will be going against Glenbard West. Keep an eye out for Proviso East. Huge shout out to Proviso East for that good win against it was Round Lake, if I'm not mistaken. Harvard at Sandwich. That's a good game too. Sandwich won big. That's a great game to watch. Sandwich is looking pretty good this season, especially with the new offense installed in there. Hinsdale Central at Willowbrook, good game as well. Lyons Township at Hinsdale Self, that's a good game as well. Lakes at Highland Park, that's a decent game. That's a really decent game, actually. Lakes at Highland Park, that's actually a very decent game. Marengo at Plano, another good game. Plano definitely needs a win there. Prospect, Hoffman Estates, that's a huge game for Prospect. Dan DeBuff's got those kids playing something special. Definitely hats off to Dan DeBuff and what he's doing at Prospect. Naperville Central, Lincoln Way East, huge game. That's a huge game. Definitely a game to keep an eye out for. Naperville North needs a win. And they're going at Batavia. Another good game as well. Richards at St. Rita, good game. Huge game, actually. Huge game. OPRF at Downers Grove Self, that's another good game as well. Shepherd at Stag, interesting game. Maine South, Mount Carmel, huge game. Two good coaches. One young coach at Mount Carmel. Two valuable offenses as well, and great defenses. That's a good game. Maine South versus Mount Carmel. Lake Park, Meta Valley. That'd be an interesting game just to see who could win that game. That's gonna. Lake Park had a tough game last week against the Calb. Hopefully they can get back on track. Shelbyville versus Cerro Gordo is another good game I would keep an eye out for. Sherrod at Orion, because Orion did a hell of a job last weekend. Orion looks great. St. Charles East, no. St. Charles North at Bolingbrook, that's a huge game. Good game to keep an eye out for. Luther North goes back to another Illinois school at Homewood Flossmoor. Trinity Catholic, St. Louis takes on East St. Louis. That's a good game as well. Sterling at Pekin, that's actually a really nice game. Good game so far. Good AD's putting together some good non-conference games that I see. Washington at Morris, that was voted second. That's a great game. Huge game for Morris if Morris can get the W. They got a great game against Coal City, and they won that game. If they beat Washington, that's a huge win for them this season that they have in the back of their pocket, especially with playoff points and everything else. So let's go down a little bit more. And let's see what else we got. Loyola Academy versus New Trier is always a great rivalry game. Look out for New Trier this season. New Trier's got to prove something. This is a great way to prove it. Loyola Academy, great game. Yorkville, it truly is a good game as well. Good challenge for Yorkville, as always is. Where are you? Westville at Dwight's another good game. Dwight looks good this season. I said that before. And that is about it for week 2 IHSA football games. As I go through them, be sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you have any questions, go ahead and email me at coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Remember, Breakfast with Coach Big Pete, 9 a.m. on Facebook Live on the Deep Dish Football page. Deep Dish Football Live Wednesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Check it out. Be sure you check it out. Other stuff. And if you like my work, a link on the bottom via PayPal. Feel free to leave a tip. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day. And enjoy the second week of IHSA football. I know I will, and I think after the second week, we will have a more clearer vision of who are the top teams in the IHSA football. Thanks again, and have a lovely weekend.